No one enjoys conflict, but as a leader, you don't create drama. That's a different thing. Conflict and having healthy conflict is meaning that you're having a problem, that you work with it in a healthy way, and the goal is that it actually gets resolved. And this helps the problem gets fixed. It helps to unify people. It helps us to move forward. Or sometimes it helps to weed out toxic people. But when you're having some type of conflict going on within your team, and you as the leader, which I've been guilty of this in the past, of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with that. I hope it just gets better. I hope it goes away. What I've learned is it temporarily you feel like it's getting a little better, but really it's like having a leak in your faucet. And it's like, let me just put a piece of tape over it. So temporarily, the little piece of tape is like blocking the water a little bit from leaking out. Over time, whatever is causing the leak gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Boom, the tape breaks one day. Water's leaking everywhere through your ceiling and everything. So leaving conflict unresolved is the same way. When you're having an issue with a team member, first of all, don't call them out like in front of the whole team. We have a thing called the golden rule, like do unto others as you've had done unto you. That's one of our core values. So you bring them in, you make time, you talk with them like one-on-one for exactly what's going on. One of the issues might be you see something's happening. There's like tension between two team members. Maybe one of them isn't picking up the slack and doing what they're supposed to be doing. And you see the other team member like being irritable with them, and the whole organization can start to feel it, but nothing's getting done. In those moments, you're able to you may start with meeting one-on-one with each team member. Then there's times where we'll meet with them together. It's in confidentiality. We go over, hey, here's what the problem is. Here's what we need to fix. I love you. You're amazing at this. This needs to change. Separate the behavior from the person. And depending on what it is, maybe you're dealing with someone who has some ongoing issues with negativity and such, but they're actually really amazing at what they do with their job. And you have to protect, as the leader, you have to protect the unity, you have to protect your organization, and it's your job to help weed this stuff out. Just chill out. Like, this toxicity and hate and drama and gossip creates more division than unity. And it gets people addicted to this toxic freaking cycle. It's a virus. It's holding you back if you're staying in this cycle. You're addicted to it without even realizing it. The Bible doesn't say anything good about gossip. People can be addicted to pornography, gambling, gossip. It doesn't say this is worse than this. It's an addiction. You need to break free from it. It's a vicious freaking cycle that's actually holding you down. And it pushes people away. It just gets them sucked into negativity and drama. Like I say, there's a time where you can do some help course correct something, or if someone really is doing something terrible. I get it. We had this whole situation go on. However, then move on and focus on your purpose of building something that's your purpose in your heart that you're meant to do, versus just constantly trying to tear everyone else down and truly being a hater. There's a quote: if you want to avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. I think it was Aristotle that said that. So true. Jesus died on the cross. Many of his disciples, someone can make a reaction to this, I can't remember if it was every one of them, got persecuted in the name of Jesus. But God is limitless and abundant. And so if someone's speaking of this God of lack and limitations, you should run away from that. God's limits are limitless. So don't allow other people to place their limitations on you, on how little they think God is, because deep down, they have their own problem with ego, and they're actually just freaking toxic haters. They're dividing everyone. Success is evil. No, it's not. It magnifies more of who you already are. If you're a piece of crap and you're broke, then you become a billionaire, you're still going to be a piece of crap. If you're stingy, you're mean, you're a bully, and you're broke, then you become a billionaire, you're going to be a billionaire that's mean, stingy, and a bully with power. If you're someone that has a God-given purpose and you're a giver, I say it all the time, when I'm a billionaire, I'm going to be able to help so many more people. And I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Yeah, I'll fly in my private jet as we're going to my wife's country of Sierra Leone, West Africa, to use our billions of dollars and help create a place there for people with developmental disabilities that doesn't even exist yet. Ask yourself this, like, am I actually being a hater? Am I secretly jealous? Do I wish I had what this person had? And I'm thinking if I had what they had, I'd be doing it in a different way. The thing is, you have no idea what they have gone through to get to where they've gotten. The only person you can compare yourself truly to is you, because you're the only one that's experienced 100% of your life up until now. So you can draw back on, I've been through all these experiences, I've overcame that, that's got me here. You may have come farther depending on where you started from. You don't know anyone's journey until you walk a mile in my mindset. Don't you dare judge my freaking journey. If you're so against the way someone's doing something, like I was with Dreamshine, allow that seed being planted in you to fuel you to make something better. That's how Steve Jobs created the personal computer that, oops, there goes my water, that led to the iPhone. That's a beautiful thing. God gives us all different purposes. Another thing here, let me move forward. You can't be constantly investing your energy in drama and negativity and toxicity while at the same time building something towards your purpose and your greatness. You need to make a choice. So if you're wasting to this addiction, whether you're the one doing it or you're the one watching it, then you're talking about it with others. That's hours. And then you're spreading the virus to others. You're dividing everyone. You're creating anger and hate when God's trying to bring people together to live the sermon and do amazing things and go after their purpose. Start to freaking check yourself. Listen, your mind is a garden. What you feed it, good or bad, grows. You feed it with toxicity, anger, negativity, you're just planting those seeds. They're growing. Then you start making videos about it. You're landscaping your mind, and then you're planting those seeds of toxicity out into the world. Who do you think is behind that? God or the devil? If I was the devil, I wouldn't have a pitchfork and a red tail the way people think. I would be thinking, what could be some ways I see that there's more influence with this Christianity thing and it's helping people and bringing more people to God? How can I get them to divide against each other about all these stupid little things that don't really matter in the big scheme of things, and get their focus off their God-given purpose and be distracted and addicted to these distractions that become toxic? Oh, that's what he's doing. Wake up. All right, so invest your energy into building your own purpose, building your own dream.